So let's talk about how to stay centered in the middle of political and social unrest. I don't know about you, but if you are sensitive like me, maybe you can't help but not feel the tension in the air. Maybe you feel like the weight of the world, it seems like on your shoulders, or just like attacking your body, or it's just coming in, and it feels like heaviness or just yuckiness or worry or fear or fatigue or anxiety and or disconnection, right? And what do we do? How do we deal with that? Because when we are bombarded, especially for those of us who are more empathic or can feel more the emotions of the people around us and the emotional state of the nation and even the world right now, it can make it hard to navigate through our daily life and feel like we're being ourselves with our full faculties that we need and we usually are used to having, right? We can kind of feel like we're limited or being squashed or like there's this heavy weight on us and it's hard energetically and emotionally and spiritually to function. So let's talk about how we can manage ourselves during this time. So the first tip that I have for you, of course, we're going to be talking about oils. We're always talking about oils because they're so good for stress and emotions and physical health too. And, they all kind of wrap around together and become, they're all connected. So the first thing that I've been really having to do for myself, just to we don't want to just be surviving. We want to be able to just thrive even. But before we get to thriving, let's just move out of surviving, right? Let's move to a place where we can feel back to our normal selves, more balanced and centered, and have, input and contributions that we can continue to make as in our daily life. So the first thing we need to do is lean back into your spiritual practice, whatever it is. And maybe lean back into isn't the right phrase for everyone. Maybe it's lean into it even more. Okay? So important. So important. And there are a couple oils that are so good. There's many oils, but two I recommend to help us is peace and sandalwood. So as we lean into our spiritual practice, what does that do? It does a couple things, right? We are tuning in, we're breathing deeper, we're releasing tension out of our body. We are seeking out or reaching out to connect with ourselves inwardly and up to a higher power, up to God, whatever your spiritual practice is. That process is grounding and it's uplifting and it's strengthening and it can bring peace and comfort and a feeling of stability. And so that's why we want to lean more into that more now than ever. We can't be lazy about it. We can't forget because if we do, then we can get overwhelmed with the stress and the tension in the air. So that's the first part. This number two, the second tip I have is to just breathe. I can't tell you how many clients I've worked on in the last 2 weeks where guess what oil I'm bringing out? It's breathe. Breathe oil, we can take the name quite literally. So when we're under stress, when it can be hard to breathe, or we stop breathing, or we feel like our breath is constricted, or we can't catch our breath, or we can't get a full breath because there can be so much tension build up in our bodies. Sometimes we're not even aware of it, or we become aware when after we've been just hit really hard by it, okay? And we're experiencing other uncomfortable physical symptoms. So I'm going to remind you to just breathe. And with that, take out your breathe oil and inhale. And this can be such a powerful oil. I'm just relaxing as I inhale it. So powerful at just relieving tension that has just kind of been piled up on you throughout the day without you even being aware of it. But sometimes we hold that, we carry it around, especially if you tend to be more sensitive. So breathe can help us release that tension And again, bring us back to a centered, calm place. Okay, the third thing we're going to do is we're going to use balance essential oil to just balance all our emotions. Okay, so if you are one that really practices self-awareness, or you like to tune in to how you're feeling, or you like to, really dive in deep because, you're doing your inner work, right? At this time, with so much going on, and you're feeling other energy that doesn't belong to you, that on top of whatever's happening within you, I recommend that before you dive in to start digging in and doing your work with emotions, is to just put on balance. Because balance, I feel, is going to even the playing field. It's going to bring back into balance any emotions that are just acting a little crazy, that can be balanced right away. And it's kind of like doing that first level of work for you. And not to mention, it just makes you feel better. Okay, so we want to feel better, and balance is going to create that. So that's just after we've breathed, we're going to apply balance. Okay, now the next step is really important. Okay, the first big step was leaning more into your spiritual practice so we can feel connected. The fourth step, we had 2 oils in between, 3 oils in between, but the next step is to eliminate the sludge. Okay, what do I mean by that? Okay, well, I want you to be selective and intentional about who you talk with, the kind of conversations you engage in, the words coming out of your mouth, what you read, who you listen to. Okay, and pay attention to what's happening in your body as you're out engaging in whatever form that looks like. You read a headline, how does it make you feel? Does it make you feel good, or does it hurt your heart, or does it add stress or anxiety? If it's negative, you've got to let it go. And for some of us, that might mean that we drastically decrease the amount of time we're on social media. We might drastically decrease the amount of news that we're listening to. We might focus more in and be intentional on who we're spending our time with, all of those things. Because if we don't, when we engage, when we engage in that negativity in whatever way, shape, or form it's bombarding us with, it's just going to add more to that weight that we're carrying around, and it's going to make us feel bad, and it sucks our joy, and it robs us of our peace, and it puts us in a reactive state that kind of is full of this frenetic energy that is so uncomfortable. Okay, so eliminate the sludge. And then on top of that, seek out those who are uplifting. Okay, and be kind and be that uplifting person to somebody else. Okay, so we're going to eliminate the sludge, and then we're going to add more goodness in by seeking out uplifting news, uplifting people, uplifting conversations, and being uplifting to others. Okay, so an oil to go with this is wild orange. Wild orange helps to reduce or clear out fear, and this is my happy oil. It helps me to feel happy. Citrus oils are uplifting. We want more upliftment than ever right now. And I'm not talking about like a false sense of, upliftment. We're not talking about ignoring what's going on, but in order for us to really step into our individual power, we can't be overrun by the negative. We need some positivity. We need some upliftment so we can connect back in to our true selves and come from a place of power to move forward and to actually move forward with strength. Okay. And then at that point, when I'm using these oils, I'm kind of laying out a little ritual for you right here if you hadn't noticed. I like to, at this point, then pay attention to how I'm feeling. Now's the time. If you like to check into your emotions, now's the time. And then pick an oil to address whatever is still lingering. So if you're feeling like discouraged or not strong enough to move forward, you might want Motivate, which is the encouraging blend. It helps us kind of give us that little extra boost emotionally that can propel us into action that we very much need to complete that maybe we're struggling with. Or maybe you're feeling that heaviness or that weight of despair or depression, or maybe you just feel bogged down and like your energy is weighed down. Then you might want Cheer. Cheer is very powerful it's the uplifting blend, and it literally it's very powerful, moving up energy, and it disperses heaviness, heavy energy like depression. So those are my tips for you today, and I hope that this is helpful. And most importantly, remember, we got to practice. We got to actually apply these principles. We got to do these things if we want to see the results. So I know you can do it. We can do it. We can come together and find like-minded people, and we can all uplift and encourage each other. And that is a beautiful thing.